5 signs an avoidant isn't ready for a healthy, capable relationship. Don't ignore these. Most people don't leave avoidant relationships because they stop loving the person. They leave because loving them starts costing too much of themselves. And the hardest part is this: avoidant partners often look functional, kind, independent, even emotionally mature on the surface. But readiness for a healthy, capable relationship isn't about charm, intelligence, or even good intentions. It's about emotional availability, nervous system safety, and the willingness to stay present when intimacy feels uncomfortable. In this video, we're breaking down 5 clear signs an avoidant is not ready for a healthy relationship, not to demonize them, but to help you stop misinterpreting behavior as potential. Because love doesn't fail due to lack of effort. It fails when effort flows in only one direction. The first sign an avoidant isn't ready for a healthy relationship is that they equate closeness with pressure, even when nothing is being demanded of them. You'll notice this early on. When things start to feel emotionally warm, when routines form, when connection deepens, when consistency appears, they begin to pull back. Not because you did something wrong, but because intimacy activates their threat system. A healthy partner experiences closeness as safety. An avoidant experiences it as a loss of autonomy. So even simple emotional needs, clarity, reassurance, consistency, are processed as control. And here's the trap. You start shrinking your needs to keep them comfortable. You tell yourself, they just need time, or I don't want to scare them away. But a relationship where one person must remain emotionally small for the other to stay regulated is not a healthy relationship. It's emotional self-abandonment disguised as patience. The second sign is that they intellectualize emotions instead of experiencing them. Avoidants are often very articulate about feelings, but detached from actually feeling them. They can explain why they're distant. They can analyze the relationship. They can talk about emotions endlessly. But when it comes time to sit inside vulnerability, fear, sadness, longing, they shut down. Conversations stay abstract. Everything becomes logical, reasonable, and not a big deal. And over time, you begin to feel emotionally lonely while still being in the relationship. You may notice that when you express hurt, they respond with explanations instead of empathy, solutions instead of presence, distance instead of repair. Emotional intelligence without emotional availability is not intimacy. It's avoidance with good vocabulary. The third sign an avoidant isn't ready is that they rely on ambiguity to stay safe. Healthy relationships thrive on clarity about feelings, direction, expectations, and boundaries. Avoidant relationships survive on vagueness. You're never quite sure where you stand. Labels are delayed. Future talk is avoided. Plans feel conditional. And when you ask for clarity, you're told things like, why do we need to define this? Or, let's just see where it goes. But here's the truth. Ambiguity gives avoidance maximum control with minimal emotional exposure. As long as nothing is clearly defined, they don't have to fully show up or fully risk being seen. And you're left doing emotional math every day, trying to decode tone, timing, and mixed signals. A healthy partner doesn't make you guess your importance. The fourth sign is that they disappear during emotional tension instead of repairing. Every relationship has conflict. What defines health isn't the absence of tension, it's the ability to repair after it. Avoidants struggle deeply here. When emotions rise, they shut down, withdraw, go silent, or suddenly become too busy. They need space, but without a clear return point, without reassurance, without accountability, and you're left holding both your pain and their relationship together alone. Over time, this teaches you something dangerous, that expressing needs leads to distance, not connection. So you stop bringing things up, you self-regulate in isolation, and the relationship becomes calm, but hollow. Peace without intimacy isn't stability, it's emotional numbness. The fifth and most telling sign an avoidant isn't ready for a healthy relationship is that they want connection without responsibility. They want closeness, but only when it doesn't require emotional labor. They want love, but not the discomfort that comes with growth. They want you, but not your needs, your expectations, or your full emotional reality. They may show up intensely at first, then fade when consistency is required. They may return when distance restores their sense of control. This push-pull dynamic isn't accidental. It's how they regulate themselves. But a healthy relationship requires the ability to stay when it's inconvenient, to choose connection even when it feels vulnerable. If someone repeatedly opts out emotionally when things get real, they're not unavailable because they don't care. They're unavailable because they're not ready. Now, here's the part most people don't want to hear. You cannot love someone into readiness. You cannot be patient enough, understanding enough, or emotionally regulated enough to override another person's attachment wounds. Readiness isn't about timing, it's about capacity. And capacity comes from self-awareness, accountability, and the willingness to tolerate emotional discomfort without running from it. If someone isn't actively doing that work, the relationship will always ask you to carry more than your share. And this is where the real shift happens. The moment you stop asking, why can't they show up for me? And start asking, why am I staying in something that requires me to abandon myself? Everything changes. Because healthy love doesn't feel like waiting to be chosen. It doesn't feel like walking on eggshells. It doesn't feel like constantly proving you're not too much. Healthy love feels steady, clear, reciprocal, safe. Before you leave this video, take a moment to really sit with what you've just heard. Not to judge yourself, not to replay every moment of the relationship, but to notice how your body feels when you imagine a connection that doesn't require you to shrink, wait, or constantly explain your worth. That feeling of ease, of not having to chase clarity or earn consistency, that's not fantasy. That's what healthy love actually feels like. If you've been dealing with an avoidant partner, understand this. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean you failed, and it doesn't mean the connection wasn't real. It means you've reached a level of awareness where you're no longer willing to confuse emotional distance with emotional depth. Growth begins the moment you stop trying to fix someone else and start protecting your own emotional well-being. You don't need closure from them to move forward. You don't need one final conversation or one last explanation. The clarity you were searching for was never something they could give. It's something you give yourself when you stop accepting less than mutual effort. When you choose peace over potential and self-respect over attachment, something powerful shifts inside you. So as you go on with your day, remember this. The right relationship won't make you doubt your value or question your needs. It won't feel like emotional work with no emotional return. It will meet you where you are and grow with you, not away from you. If this video brought you clarity, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might be silently struggling in the same way. And as always, keep choosing connections that feel safe, steady, and real. You deserve nothing less.